Hello, this video will discuss how to read a Heart Tutoring lesson guide. You are going to be able to pick up the packet of lesson guides or have them mailed to you prior to beginning tutoring. The goal of this video is to show you the structure of the lessons that will be the same no matter what notebook your student is working on. Slides follow that same structure, so let's look at the first slide that your student will see when they open their JAM for their lesson. This will be a Let's Get Started slide. It will include a small activity or an icebreaker to get to know your students and a way to build relationships and learn more about them every session. On slide 2, this will have the title of the activity you'll be doing with your student and the purpose of that activity. Please read aloud the purpose for your students. For example, this activity is the combinations train game, and we are going to practice identifying and visualizing combinations for your focus number. You may notice when you receive your packets that there are some icons that will call to attention different aspects of the lesson guide. For example, this toolkit with a diamond on it indicates that that's a helpful tutoring tip that we want you to take note of. Let's look at slide 3. This slide will prompt your students to gather their math materials for tutoring that day. There will always be a virtual option in case your student does not have their materials with them. You can find those virtual options by looking at your lesson guide and seeing where there is a V in a circle. That will indicate the other option for tutoring if your student doesn't have their materials. On slide 4, this prompts us to use our camera. This means that the student does not need to be in the Jamboard app and they need to switch to their camera. And for this scenario, they are switching to start looking at 2 different color of cubes for their focus number. If the student does not have the cubes available or is struggling to use the camera, slide 5 has a virtual alternative where the student can use the virtual cubes to build the trains, and we're always going to have an alternative for you in case that is needed, and that will be indicated on the lesson guide. So for example, in this activity, the student could drag and drop their cubes, making their focus number if they had difficulty using the physical cubes and the camera. Now let's go to slide 6. This is a brain break. This is something fun and silly to give your student a time to connect with you and also helps chunk the lesson. There will be a brain break in every lesson. With the rest of the activities, you see the bolded script and extra notes in case your student needs additional support. What you see in bold is always what you will read out loud to your students. At the end of every lesson, there will be a set of word problems where your student will read the problems to you. The lesson guide encourages you to have the student read and explain their answer as they continue to strengthen their ability to answer word problems and apply the math learning that they are completing. The final page is the wrap-up slide. This has some metacognitive questions for students to reflect on their learning from the day and discuss what was easy and challenging for them and what they're excited to do next time. One other thing to note is that sometimes that you may see a symbol with an O that would indicate that that portion of the lesson is optional. That is for opportunities where your student might need additional support and extra practice. We hope this was helpful for you to see the structure of a lesson, and as a reminder, you will get all of the lesson guides that you need ahead of beginning tutoring. Thank you for tutoring with heart.